All right, what's up? I'm here with Sebastian Felix from the band Bash the Band, and we're gonna start this interview. So, tell us a little bit about your band, the history of it, how it started.
Yeah, it kind of started after I got a guitar when I was about 11. I kind of never put it down, and I just started learning um, songs and stuff like that. And I was mostly self-taught, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that it was fun. And when I started to learn like chords and stuff like that, I started to just like make little songs. And again, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that I liked it, and I had this recording program in my laptop, and I just kind of started, recording little songs, and I did like the vocals and the guitar, and like I had a little drum pad that I would, like put on there, and I made a little CD, and I showed it to my parents, and they didn't really know what I was up to, but when I showed them, they were pretty, I guess, they've always been very supportive, so once they heard it, they were. My dad had kind of thought of a recording studio that's about 45 minutes from where I live in El Paso in Tornillo called Sonic Ranch Studios, where I had to go audition and stuff. And when I went out there, I showed him what I had done, and I worked with a guy called Marco Ramirez. And I sat there, and I showed him my little CD and stuff, and he really liked what I was doing. And again, it was kind of, at this point in time, I didn't even know I was
It
going
was
to
just
do a
for
band or
fun. You
anything
had
like
no
that. All I
idea.
know is that,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to, what was that?
I said it was just for fun. You had no idea
Yeah,
he wanted to make a career out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was 14, and so anyway, I recorded the first Bash CD by myself, and it was kind of similar to that demo. I did the vocals, the bass, the guitar, and the drums all by myself, and of course it was a big learning process. That was the first time I was ever doing anything like that, and that guy Marco really helped me. And the reason I mentioned that because of the band is there was a moment where he had asked me, he said, "So what are we going to call this?" And I said, "I don't really know." And I said, my nickname is Bash. And he said, "Okay, so we'll just call it Bash." And then like that, ever since then, it just kind of stuck. And then as far as like forming the band, once I was done with it, they had asked me, "Well, are you going to want to perform live and stuff?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And they said, "Okay, well, you should probably get, like some older guys and some professional musicians to play with you." And I was like, that sounds kind of, I would rather play, with like kids my age and stuff. And that's kind of how I had formed the band with a bunch of guys that I had met in high school and stuff.
So, all the members in the band back then are still in the band now? Same.
No, actually, we've gone through a couple of member changes, but the bass player, me and him are the only original members. But he is, I met him in high school. He was a junior when I was a senior. He was a junior when I was a freshman.
All right, on. So he was a little older than you.
Yeah.
Um, your musical and your non-musical influences.
Musically, I would say Muse. I listen to a lot of different things. I listen to Pierce the Veil quite a bit, Avenged Sevenfold, but I listen to all
Pierce the
genres.
Veil's
Eminem's a
amazing.
big person I listen to. Guns N' Roses. My mom has a massive music collection, so I grew up always listening to music. She always had music playing in the house. Non-musical, I would probably just say mostly my family, my parents, my dad and my mom. Have always been super supportive. They're at every single show. You know what I mean? And there's never been a moment where they ever told me like, "Well, you should do school or you shouldn't be in a band." Like they were always behind me, and they still are. So I would probably say that. My dad's been a business owner for about 20 years, so he's always been like the person I look up to as far as being a leader and stuff in my band.
Who writes the songs and what are they mostly about? Do they have the same meaning or are they all different meanings on the songs? Or
It's pretty different. I write all the lyrics and stuff, and I write most of the music. But sometimes it depends. There's two types of songs. Like sometimes I'll write about something, and I'll just have like a guitar riff or something like that, and I'll have the words. And then next time we jam with the guys, I'll bring it to them, and I'll just say, "Hey, I have this," and I'll sing it and play it, and then they'll just jump in. And other times we'll be at practice and we'll just be fucking around, and a lot of things happen spontaneously. Like Michael, the bass player, will play something, and we'll be like, "Hey, that's fucking cool. Let's play that." Or the drummer will play something. And anyway, sometimes we write the music first, and then I'll go and write the lyrics. But as far as like what they're about, they're similar in the sense that it's always about something very personal. I always kind of joke around because a lot of the songs that we write are usually kind of sad or like angry or something like that. Even though myself, I'm not really an angry or I'm a pretty happy person, but I think it's because that's my way of dealing with things. Like if whether it's a girl or a family issue or something like that, I have to write about it in order to get over it. Like that's kind of
Yeah, it's like
like
me too, though, because I rap and I write about all kinds of personal problems, but I try to rap about things that sometimes don't make sense, but it always comes back to those personal
yeah, yeah,
experiences.
much, man.
Describe how you promote your band and how the shows go. If you tour, I guess, right? So
Yeah. The way I would describe it is it's very independent. One things that I'm very proud of is that we do a lot of our own things. I don't really. Whenever people ask me like, "What advice would you give somebody?" or something like that, I always tell them just do it on your own.
that's what I was
And
going to ask you next. What advice
yeah,
would you give?
yeah, because that's one thing I've learned. There's a lot of people out there that will they'll try to sell you stuff. You know what I mean? Like, hey, for $500, I can make you this flyer or something. Bullshit like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, my thing is, we promote like every time anybody talks to us, like on our Facebook, our Instagram, or YouTube, anywhere, they're talking to me, and I take pride in that because I take the time to talk to every single person, even if it's just a small comment. Like, hey, that was cool. I'll be like, hey, thanks for taking the minute, to listen to us. Because I know there's a lot of bands out there. There's a lot of people that anybody could listen to. Like that. So when somebody takes the time to listen, I make sure to go out of my way to tell them I appreciate it, and I think that goes hand in hand with the shows too, because we book all of our own shows, all of our own tours and stuff like that. So we're very self-reliant. We don't really depend on anyone. We kind of do our own thing. There's even been a couple of times where we'll be out on tour and somebody will be like, hey, how did you, like another band will be like, how did you get out of here? You're signed by a big label and all this and that. And I was like, well, no, we did it ourselves. And they're like, well, how? And I'm like, well, you got to go and do it yourself, man. You know what I mean? You can't wait for anyone to do it for you.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I would say it that way. And it's usually pretty good. Like at the shows too, we make it a point to talk to everybody. I mean, we when we get there, we make friends with the owner. We make friends with everybody who's there to watch us and stuff.
Have you ever been? This is I guess a funny question. Have you ever been like to PA, like where I live, PA, play down there, or New York, or?
Oh no, actually, we haven't gone that far east yet, and that's why I was pretty excited when you asked us about that show because that'd be a cool way to get that first time over there. We've toured quite a bit on the West Coast and east. The farthest we've gone is like Mississippi.
Oh, right
So
on. Well, it still counts. Yeah, you're still on the
yeah,
East Coast.
I'd like to go farther though, so that'd be cool.
Yeah. The biggest obstacles for your bands. What was, if I can? I mean, you don't have to answer, but what would be the biggest problem you've had in the past with the band, like challenges, and then were you able to conquer that challenge, or did you just have to skip over it?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is consistency because a lot of people, I've heard this advice from a lot of bigger bands too. They'll tell you, "Hey, man, it's a long road ahead of you," and I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the reason that we've gone through a couple of members is because a lot of people come into it and they expect that it just happens overnight. You know what I mean? That you're going to play a big show and the next day you're on MTV or something like
You're
that, and
on
it doesn't happen
MTV,
that
and
way. You know what I
then
mean? It takes a while. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge. But I mean, yeah, we've definitely been able to conquer that. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, sometimes people, they say, well, how come you've gone through so many member changes or something like that? And I tell them, well, because, a lot of times I don't
not
blame,
everyone
some
agrees with the
people.
same stuff. So
Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say that it's just a matter that you have to just keep at it. It's a lot of determination and it's not going to happen overnight. You got to keep working it.
So, some of while you're on the road, your tour life, what's the best thing besides playing shows? What's the most favorite things you like to do? Like, because I know you explore new cities and new parts of. What's your favorite things to do? Like, what was the best thing you've ever done on tour? I guess is how I'm.
You just it's really weird. It's all the stuff that you don't plan to do. I think the best thing is the people you meet because I
Yeah,
can't tell you about like how many of awesome friends that have really made a big impact on my personal life, and it just so happened that we met. You know what I mean? Like on one show. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like for example, we played in Mississippi quite a bit in Gulfport, and
I know
it's
where
so
that
funny
is.
the way things work out is like I mean not to ramble on here, but long story short, a promoter there had contacted us. She had a festival going on, and we said, okay, yeah, we've never been that far. Let's go and do it. We'll just see what's up. And when we went there, it was a pretty cool show and stuff like that. But it was just one gig or whatever. And it's crazy from there. From that one show, we made a bunch of friends. I mean, next thing you know, we're going back. We stay at their house. They become really good friends of ours. You know what I mean? Then we meet. Next time we go, one of our members had gotten a tattoo there. We met the owner from the tattoo shop. Next time we go back, he has a tattoo convention, and we play at the tattoo convention. So
That's
we went
crazy.
from playing.
So it's like promotion, but in like a positive way because you're always coming back.
Exactly, yeah. And that just happened by making friends. I mean, it wasn't like we went and said, "Hey, man, can I play at your show?" It's just like things happen. You know what I mean? You meet people, and it's always super fun. You know what I mean? We make lots of good memories.
Let's see if there's any more. What are your future dreams and goals? What do you, anything upcoming, like another album? Because I know you just released that one album. Most recently.
We move pretty quick, because right now, we just released that video and stuff like that. And,
I watched it. It was good.
We're actually going to hit the studio again in June in LA, and we're going to record our 5th record. So that's kind of like the next big upcoming thing. It's like a month away now, so we're kind of focusing on that. We're working on a lot of new songs. And like I said, we just like to move fast and stuff like that, and we're always doing something. You know what I mean? We're always busy. And as far as like long-term goals, I don't want to be. It's not like, of course, anybody can say, well, I want to be a big rock star and this and that, and which, yeah, we want to make it big, but I definitely want to do things on my own. My goal is not to just be signed by a big label and then do whatever they tell me. My dream would to be have my own label, you know what I mean? Have my own bands, stuff like that, and support my own people and not have to. I think a lot of things that are wrong with the music industry is it's very. I don't know. What's the word? It's not very genuine. You know what I mean? A lot of people just try to go for what's radio friendly and stuff like that, which is cool and all. But I would like to make my own label and stuff like that, and maybe make some different artistic venues, like not just music. I'd like to maybe make some movies or something like that, or just different things. I want to expand my horizons once I'm up there.
Have you ever, I guess, hater wise? Let me ask this way. All the haters that, if there is, you might not even, because I know people who don't even have haters in the band. What would be your advice to the haters? What do you have to say to them? I guess, because there's always going to be haters.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you like it or not, there's always going to be haters,
Yeah. No, that was something that we actually had to deal with right away. And it started, in the hometown and stuff like that. And honestly, I mean, not to just sound, cocky or anything, but to be completely honest, I mean, if somebody is, hating on you or jealous of you, I'm just thankful that they're talking about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would bum me out is if nobody was talking about us. Then that would be like, well, damn, I'm not doing anything to get any attention.
Like, what the hell is going on? Yeah.
Exactly. So, no, I mean, I would just say, and if I had to give advice to anybody who's getting hated on, I would just say, hey, you're doing something right. You know what I mean? The only reason this person is taking time out of their day to think about you or leave a nasty comment or talk shit about you. So, if anything, they're probably just helping promote you more. You know what I mean? Even if they say, oh, well, Bash fucking sucks. Well, at least that person says, I could imagine somebody saying, well, who's Bash? Oh, that's a stupid band. Then they're going to go look at us.
I think of it this way. If you're hating on someone, you're taking 30 seconds out of your life just to say something stupid. You're watching a YouTube video. Each view, buddy, is, especially if you're signed. Apparently now, if you watch a video and they're like by Vivo or something, they're getting paid. So either way, you're technically paying them. Or even just paying attention to them. You could just say, hey, you suck. Well, guess what? You just watched the thing that you just said suck, So, I mean, so you say you move pretty fast. Describe how you write, like how fast you go, like your work style. How does a song start out? How does it finish? Like, what's the steps of you writing your music, I guess?
Usually it starts out by, usually when I sit down and write, I might be kind of upset about something, either in that moment or it's been something that's been weighing on my conscience for a while. And I have to be alone. I have to write when I'm alone. And music-wise, obviously I collaborate with the guys, and it's good to be there with everybody. But when I'm writing the lyrics, I have to be by myself, and a lot of times it'll just be my guitar and my laptop, and I'll just start making up some chords and just start fucking around with any idea, and a lot of times I'll start singing, but I don't know what I'm going to say exactly. I'll kind of start playing with the melody. I'll be like, blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of start writing, okay, this kind of fits here. And then I'll start to realize what what I want to exactly how I want to say it. And like I said, a lot of times it's always about something that's bothering me, and it's usually pretty heavy, like a family issue or about a girl or something like that, or anything really. And so I'll just start that way. So once I have the music in place, I always kind of look at it very visually. I can imagine like, okay, there's a verse, there's this, there's the chorus, and there's this. You know what I mean? And so then I'll bring it to the guys, and then and then it's always changing too. When I write like. Even if we write a song in a specific way in the practice play, like where we rehearse and stuff like that, we'll finish it whatever, and that song just keeps evolving. You know
It
what I mean?
just
We'll
keeps
play
going and going and going until you guys finally say, you know what, it's perfect enough.
exactly.
Let's post it.
Exactly.
Let's record it. Post it.
Yeah.
Do you ever work independently? Like, if someone were to ask you, I guess, let's say, a fan were to ask you, hey, I want to, see if you could sing on a chorus or something, would you do it?
Oh yeah. That's one thing that I've always liked doing and stuff like that. And
Because personally, I was going to ask you to work on one of my songs for my mixtape coming out as a chorus.
Cool.
But that's why I asked it, because I didn't even know. Because I've asked a lot of people to do stuff, and especially people from bands, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, I can't do this. I'm on tour, this and that." And then you find out 2 days later they ain't on tour. So.
Oh really? Okay, yeah, no, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm definitely open to stuff like that.
Like I said, I just started making music recently. I've always made it. I've been a drummer for 12 or 13 years, but I just started writing lyrics and rapping by myself because I got bullied. I still get bullied. I'm graduating on the 12th, and I've been bullied ever since high school, but that's why I did music. And that's why, when I found out that I had to do this project, I was like, you know what? Let's interview other people. I look, and literally, I've tried to get, a lot of musicians, and they've always said this bullshit, like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm on tour. And I finally got you, and I got some rapper named Belay, who raps with Ronnie Radke, if you know who they are from Falling in Reverse.
Yeah, that's badass. Nice.
And then I got my buddy. So I'm trying to work on the chain from there. I don't know who else I'm going to get personally, because I got to get people from my school too, apparently. That was the only reason. Because they weren't letting me interview you or anyone until I got someone from my school. And so I told them all this story. Is like, you know what? I'll get someone from my school. I'm going to. I don't know who.
Yeah.
But, so as in fans... merch, how does that go? Like when you sell merchandise, do you make it yourself? Do you, design the logos, or do you have someone do that for you?
Yeah, no, that's another thing that we also we're pretty independent on. A lot of the shirts we all design it ourselves and stuff like that. And either it's me, and then my little sister does a lot of designs too. And my mom is actually really involved in that. And yeah, we have a guy who makes them here in El Paso. Will actually prints them for us and stuff like that. But it's all very, like I said, we're all very in control of everything. So yeah, as far as like getting like the merch, we're in between like online stores right now. So the process is actually very personal. Like a lot of times, if somebody wants something, they'll actually message us. You know what I mean? So and they'll tell us the size and stuff like that, and then we'll go ahead and send it out. And we always like to throw in extra stuff and keep them happy.
So how do they pay then? If they message you?
Oh, it's usually by credit card. We have a credit card machine and stuff like that.
That's cool. So and you said that other album's coming out. Are you ever planning? I guess, have you ever toured with famous musicians that people know, like well known? I guess
a couple of the biggest ones. We did this thing called the Ink Life Tour last year and the year before that. And that was a really big opportunity for us. It had actually stemmed from a tattoo show that started here in El Paso called the Texas Showdown Festival. And we played there. It's really interesting because we had played there like when it was very small, you know what I mean? And each year it got bigger and bigger. And they took it on the road, and that was awesome. We got to play with Bug Cherry, Static X before he passed away, 3 Days Grace, the original singer, Adam Gontier. Who else? Mushroom Head was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of really cool dudes were on that tour. So it's been pretty awesome. We've got some awesome opportunities that way.
All right, let me see. Any words of advice? You've kind of said earlier, but as in your advice, is there anything you would like to say to the fans, to anyone in general, for going through problems, or even musically?
A lot of what I would tell them is everything that I tell myself. I mean, because I never like to think that like I'm like in a position to give advice, but I always like to give myself advice. I mean, you get yourself through problems. So what I tell people is, I mean, just believe in yourself and do your own thing. You know what I mean? A lot of times, people, and it's hard not to fall into like listen to what people say to you. I mean, a lot of times, people will only do things because they think it's cool, or they try to follow the crowd or something like that, or because it's popular or something like that. And I would just say, do your own thing. You know what I mean? If you're doing something, whatever it is, if it's art, if it's music, or if it's any kind of career. I mean, and if somebody doesn't believe in you, whether it's your parents, your friends, or whoever, just if it makes you happy, do it. You know what I mean? Life's too short to be doing something that you don't want to do for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Everybody has that one special thing that makes life worth living. You know what I mean? If I didn't have the band, I'd be fucking depressed. I mean, I would be doing some bullshit.
I was in a band for a while, and then after I kept getting either I got kicked out, I got lied about, or I got faked over twice. I was like, screw it, and I still do music, but I rap. I'm independent now because of that reason.
Yeah.
Because I listen to people's advice, and don't get me wrong, people say some good advice.
Oh yeah.
And I listen to them, and it doesn't work. Some of the advice I think people give me just ain't good for me, So then I start working solo, and I still have it. I have more haters than I have fans, but that's why I keep going. Because, like I said earlier, 30 seconds you just wasted on hating me. So I write songs after songs. And I'm trying to get big, but to be completely honest, I don't think it's going to happen for a while. But still, you know what I mean? It's still something I like to do. And my dad hates when I rap because I act like I'm nobody. My voice changes. But if you listen to the lyrics, I guess word by word, you'll get something. Like a lot of the album I'm working on that I want you to work on is called Invisible Passion, and it's going to be about not just me, but about things that have happened in general. Like, there's going to be a beat that I got off my friend that's a 9/11 beat, and I want to write something about that. So my dad, of course, knowing my dad, he doesn't like rap, so he hates all that kind of music. He doesn't like screamo. So I told him I was interviewing you. He's like, okay, well, just, make sure he doesn't scream. And, he says there's stupid things about it. Yeah. But I don't think because of his childhood, he listened to Boston and AC/DC and shit. So he didn't listen to that hard rock. Before I became a rapper, I started listening to the genre you play, and that's what made me, because I have bad ADHD. I'm just going to throw it out there now. So listening to music rather than smoking, because I just quit. I've been 3 months clean from smoking cigarettes. That helps me. So I started listening to your band, and it touched me a lot, the lyrics, because it kind of matched to what I feel. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to push forward and interview you.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Because, the things that, I don't, like the cover, you just did a cover recently. I can't think of the zombie cover.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably my favorite song by far. Because it describes how I feel, in general. Yeah. I feel like a zombie at times because people just ignore me, so, But I did want to say, keep doing what you're doing because it's influencing me, if anyone, so.
Oh, thanks, man. It means a lot to you say that, really.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's the truth because, I say it to a lot of people. I'm not going to lie, people I look up to. And they usually just start saying shit like, oh, okay, well, buy our next record. Like, stop trying to. Not everything's about money. That's what I like. That's what I think is hilarious. Every musician sells their shit. Once they become famous, Justin Bieber, I looked up to him until he started being an asshole. Why? Because he started selling his damn music over and over again. We get it, And, I like Falling in Reverse. They're selling their stuff. Blood on the Dance Floor. They're selling their stuff. And some of the bands I'm okay with because, I know them personally now. Like, I met Blood on the Dance Floor twice. I met you in person. So, personally, I guess for advice-wise, I'm going to take it. I hope it works. And then the last question I'm going to ask you is, who would be your dream collaboration with any musician or band in general? Like, two answers is what I'm looking for. One for you as a solo musician, if you ever become a solo musician, and then one with a band.
I would say me as a solo musician is probably gonna sound stupid, but I would it would be out of this world to do something with Eminem. Like if I were to sing a chorus
I would do it too. That ain't crazy at all. I would do something like that too.
Yeah.
I think anybody would. Because in the other interview, someone was like, "Oh, I'd rather do a Chris Webby, but I'd rather kick his ass than Eminem because I love Eminem." So it's kind of it's funny that you say it because everyone I've interviewed said that. I interviewed a chorus teacher and she said she wants to do Eminem. She's like 30 years old. So it was really funny to hear that everyone's picking him, and it would be, and it's never gonna happen, but it would be amazing to get him on my project.
Right.
But like I said, he sells his music too much, so. And then as the band, who would be your dream?
The band, I would say probably Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I like him too.
Yeah.
So have you ever have you ever tried doing music with or sound like of Mice and Men or Pierce the Veil or covers by any of them? Or that's a personal question. I mean, because I love them.
Yeah, no, I actually love them too. We haven't tried to, honestly, but we do listen to them quite a bit actually. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of the songs that we try to cover, it'll just be pretty random. Like a lot of the songs that we'll end up like playing for fun will be a song that doesn't even sound like us. You know what I mean? It'll be like a random, like maybe like Red Hot Chili Peppers or something like that. Just because like we'll be like, you know what I mean? It'll be kind of like random. But yeah, I love Pierce the Veil.
Yeah, they're amazing. I look up to them. I must say I look up to your band now. I look up to a lot of people because like I said, they're all about music and they're about family, and that's what I like about music is because you could be a solo artist, your fans are your family.
Yeah, of course.
And I have to ask this because you tour, bus or plane or car? What would you rather?
We have like a van, it's called a Mercedes Sprinter, so it's like a
Oh,
minibus.
right on. Those are sweet.
Yeah.
I've been in one of those before.
Yeah.
How's their life on the road then?
What's that?
Going from state to state, or how's the life on the road?
Oh, it's awesome. It's hard, but it just goes by so quick. Like when you're out there, it's like it's just you don't stop. Like when the last tour we did, we went from the furthest we went from El Paso was Seattle, and it's pretty much. I mean, you drive, you eat, you sleep, you play, you drive. You know what I mean? Like you're always like
it's right over again.
Because I mean, you're going to play the show, and you got to do it all over again tomorrow. So you got to rest, you got to get up, you got to eat. You know what I mean? Like, and you get so caught up in it that there was actually a moment when we were in Seattle, and the bass player just got in bed, and me and the drummer, who I've actually known. It's funny, the drummer, he's not the original drummer, but I've known him since we were like 8 years old. He's been my neighbor. And there was a moment when we went outside of the hotel. It was like 3 a.m, and we were just kind of there, and we were like, "Dang, dude! Like we're in Seattle right now. Like we barely had a minute to like take a second,
relax, or just hang out, do something."
Yeah, you mean because you get caught up. Like everything happens so fast, and it's really awesome. I'm really lucky to be able to do that.
Any new tours coming up? Shows?
Yeah.
Besides
since
the one
we just
I
went
offered
west
you.
in November, we want to head east. You know what I mean? So again, getting back to your show, that would be cool if we could incorporate it. Somehow going that way. So I want to head that way. Like we head east quite a bit through Texas and Oklahoma and stuff like that. But to go farther, would be pretty awesome. So I'm hoping maybe around the time you mentioned August, something like that would be cool.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is, I just kind of came to my attention. I'm gonna probably cut this out of the interview, but it came to my attention is that they make a lot of sad commercials, a lot of sad stories, and I was like, music is thing. I'm a rapper. A lot of rappers are gonna be there. Let's try to throw bands in. And my friend was like, well, let's have them pay. I was like, pay them to perform. Yeah. I was like, why? So we can send all the money to whoever we need to do. So what we're doing now is I've emailed and messaged a shit ton of people, like professionals. Of course, Blood in the Dance Floor emailed me and they said, we might be interested. Give me information. I gave them information and they didn't respond. I don't think they ever will respond. I mean, if you know who Blood in the Dance Floor is, Dobby's really religious and he likes to give back. So it's like he's the kind of guy, he's like you because he acts about his family and his friends like really religious. And then when he's music wise, he's not like you because when he's music wise, he's a complete asshole. He likes to be on stage. He's a complete mean dick, and that's why everyone likes him because off stage when you sign an autograph, everyone respects him.
Wow,
not
that's
everyone.
Really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I like about them, and a lot of people hate them too. If you've ever seen their hate comments, he just got, I guess years ago, he was charged as a rapist, which never happened because one person online said he raped a girl, so they believed it, and he went to court and shit. And he came out, he was not guilty.
Oh, really?
So then he wrote 4 songs about that. He wrote an album about his haters called Bad Blood. I mean, that's why I like him. No one knows Dobby. I mean, I don't know Dobby as much as anyone else does, but if you meet him in person, and he says "God bless you," then you know something's up because no one would randomly just say that. I mean, unless they're acting like they're So that's why I asked that if you would ever perform with anyone like them because they're a different genre than you.
Oh yeah.
but still same meaning music wise.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
Yeah, that'd be
then,
really cool.
so what I was trying to do is get people to perform. It's like $45 per set, like 15, 20 minutes. Obviously, I told my friend if it's a band or it's a professional, well known, we're gonna give them longer. And we're
Yeah.
still gonna, because they deserve. They came all this way. They
Yeah.
deserve longer than 20 minutes. Now we're getting a lot of locals, and that's why I messaged you guys. It's like, well, let's see. Hope, because there's this band called Cold Black. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're from Denmark, and they want me to pay them $800 per person to fly. And I was
Oh.
like, there's no way in hell, because then
Yeah.
there goes all the money. So I was like, well, because he looked at your page first, and I was like, I don't think so. Then we went back and we're like, well, Texas ain't that far. Now you think of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it might be a couple days worth, but still, it ain't that far.
Oh yeah.
And so I decided to message you, and then it seemed that you were really cool. So I was like, let's get him an interview. So
Yeah.
then that happened. So now I'm talking to you now, and what we're trying to do is do in August. We don't even know what we didn't even talk to the people who planned it yet, but apparently they do this all the time with stuff. So we're
Oh,
trying
okay.
to get a lot of musicians together, but right now I'm personally trying to get famous bands to say yes, we'll do it, no, we won't do it ahead of time, because
Yeah.
then once we be able to not ahead of time, we'll probably, if something were to happen, we'd let everyone know by July.
Oh, okay.
So we have
Cool.
a month to if you were to say yes and then we couldn't get the place, we had to get somewhere else, we'd tell you instantly
Yeah, of
because
course.
you're ahead of a band and you got other tours and stuff. So that's why I wanted to ask you, and I keep taking you up on this offer because I think it'd be amazing, not only for us but for you guys, because
Oh
you like to
yeah.
promote, and you said yourself you're touring, trying to get over to the East. So it
Yeah.
might, what we're trying to do is get a lot of people, and it's like we're every $10 for admission. I think he said bands are free unless they pay to perform. So even if you
Okay.
weren't to perform, if you just want to check it out, you know, and you say, hey, we're a band, we're gonna show up. Obviously, we're gonna give it to you for free because you came all this way.
Yeah.
Even if you don't play or you can't play, you're not ready. So that's why I wanted to ask you, face to face, voice to voice. I was like, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to promote as much as we can,
Yeah.
even though it's so long away. So that's why I wanted to tell you, I think you should, let me know about it because we'd really love to have you play
Yeah,
by
man, that'd be
far.
really cool. Yeah, like I said, we're definitely interested in stuff like that. I still got to tell the guys about it and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely want to try it. I really like what you're trying to do, and it's cool that
My
it's cool.
dad kind of knows about it. If I tell him everything, he'll say, "Oh no, you can't do that." Well,
Oh,
I'm
really?
I'm 18 years old. I can do what I want. I mean, technically, if I want to continue music, at 16 years old, I kept trying to do something like this, and he'd say, "No, okay, Dad, I understand. I have to listen to you. I'm 18. I'm going to try whatever I have to do it. If I have to
Oh, of
break a
course.
few permit laws, I will. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to, but still,
Yeah.
music is. I'll do anything for music,
Awesome, dude.
anything. So." Well, hey, I'm a real. Thank you very much for doing this interview with me. Like, I really appreciate it.
You
You
too, man.
know,
Thank you for taking the time to reach out to me. It means a lot.
yeah, because now I gotta. The only thing now is I have to clean the interview a lot. Editing
Oh,
sucks.
okay.
I hate editing. That's the one thing I hate.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna give you guys a shout out. I'm gonna post the unedited so I don't have to touch it tonight on YouTube. And
Okay.
I don't know how you want me to do it. Do you want me to tag your Facebook? Do you want me to put it on YouTube and tag you?
Yeah, whatever you want to do, dude, and then we'll post it too. I mean, we'll share it and stuff like that.
All right. And do you have anything to say to your fans before we're done interviewing? Because all your
Um,
fans are gonna watch it.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you if anybody watching is, taking the time to listen to us. And thank you, what I mean? Anybody who's listened to us, it means a lot. You know what I mean? Like I said, we're trying to do our own thing. We're trying to do something different. And so that way it's really genuine that we want to thank, everybody who takes the time because we know it's not easy. I mean, a lot of people take that for granted. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, people listen to my stuff, whatever. But to think that people actually take the time to listen to what we put so much work into means a lot. So just thank you guys. And yeah.